Hello, my good people. I'm Kuya P. As you see on the other screen, that's my pal, Anthony Francis. He's been here before. He's over from Screen Comment, Film Threat, the movie review. Shout out to him as always. We're going to talk about a film called Culprit, a film that is going to touch on some issues of how we treat other people in the world. And I love films like this and helps us bring these things to mind. I also want to give a shout out to Rich Ronat, the writer director, as well as Laura Vale, who's one of the lead actors in this. I did an interview with them. Go check that out. But right now, we're going to dig in to The Culprit. Let's check out the trailer. Here we go.
Harris was released today. Evidence for the original case was severely mishandled.
You are a free man, Mr. Harris.
He confessed to doing it, and they let him go.
I gotta convince everyone that I'm innocent.
We just did it in court.
Just because you let a man out of prison don't mean he's free.
You served all that time because of my parents. I swore I'd help get you out. I've done it. Now I'm asking you, will you help me?
We need to go back where it all began.
Haven't been back since the day I found her. Never told you this, but I think it may have been my father. I think that Dad might have...
You stop right there. This nonsense would destroy this family.
I ain't never killed no one. I aim to find the real killer, clear my name, and prove who I am to the folks in this town.
Those people want you dead.
Body found has been confirmed to be Isabella Chen.
Isabella Chen's autopsy results have just been released. It is an exact replica of Katrina Walters 27 years ago.
They're gonna come after you even harder now.
Where were you 2 nights ago?
I don't think you did it.
We all got our secrets now, don't we?
We need to discover the truth. I haven't been totally honest with you or the police. Something I need to show you.
Vengeance is mine. Burn in hell.
There hasn't been a child murdered in Huntsville since the first time he was convicted.
27 years behind bars, I can tell the evil from the righteous.
You better be right about this.
Where did he take him?
Go ahead, as long as you're okay with not knowing the truth.
All right, there you go. That is the trailer for Culprit. Culprit is available on Prime Video right now. You can check it out there and other digital platforms. As we always do on the NRW as we give our reviews, we definitely want to give a shout out to the cast and crew. It takes a village, y'all, as a filmmaker myself, to make a film. And so while I just give you a couple names real quick, a salute to everybody involved on this project. We have director Rich Ronat as director. He was also writing this with Jamie Donovan. This film stars Ron Orbach, Laura Vale, Michael Nazu, J.C. King, Michael Dempsey, Amy Mata, Robert Louis Stevenson, Carolyn Mignini, Richard Whiten, Taylor Cole, Jamie Donovan, a whole slew of others. Again, I'm just briefly touching on some of the cast and crew, but salute to the entire team. To add more to the trailer, to just give you a little bit more story, we have a man fresh from prison, freed from prison for this assumed murder that he was accused of, but there's many in this town of Huntsville, Texas, that thinks he is guilty. We go through the course of this film of him befriending the sister of the victim to prove his innocence. But where will it all end up? You have to see the film Culprits. So there's just a brief synopsis, as well as, love to the cast and crew. I want to dig into this review with my pal Anthony Francis. I don't know if you saw the trailer for this at first, Anthony, or if it was just my letting you know as fellow film critics, you got to check this out. But what were your thoughts, just maybe purely off of like the idea of the story?
Yeah, I didn't know about it. I think I might have seen an ad for it on a night I was flipping around and it was coming soon to on demand. But I don't think I watched the trailer, so I wasn't familiar with it. But yeah, you were indeed the one to put.
All right, I just realized that because I'm in the way. If y'all watch our reviews, we have like a certain way we go from point A to point B in this review. So my apologies. I'm like, I might not just should have asked him that question. But thank you for checking this out, Anthony. I had the pleasure of, again, talking to Rich Ronat and Laura Vale about this film. This is the first film from Good Rebel Productions, their film studio.
Great name.
Yeah, wonderful name. And as a filmmaker, it's very difficult to get your projects out there, get it financed. Well, once you have an idea, get it financed, get it distributed. So I definitely wanted to talk to them about that, and then the material, and just salute on that endeavor, because so many people have big dreams, but it's the execution all the way to the end that you want to just kind of give people props on for going for that dream, and they achieved that. So shout out to Rich and Laura about that. In regards to this film, again, this film is based on this guy who's freed and trying to prove his innocence. And when I read kind of like the brief synopsis about this, I was very curious about it. I'm a person of color in society. Perception is one of the biggest things I have to battle every day. And so that kind of just notion about this is what grabbed me, to be honest. And what I found very interesting through watching this film and how they portrayed that, and how does society deal with that. I thought it was very interesting and very entertaining in a lot of ways. And with the ending, without spoiling, because I don't want to spoil it for the people that haven't seen Culprit yet, I was very wowed a little bit in different ways, but also very interesting. And Rich Ronat, when I spoke with him, he was inspired by the Innocence Project, which is a very important project that's out there in regards to people that are accused of crimes. And what also he wanted to take from that is how you just never know, which also makes it a very interesting story device. Are they really good guys, or are they really bad guys? And he really wanted to keep you on that teeter-totter throughout this film. So with that said, let's get into our thoughts on this. I have my thoughts. I know Anthony has his. Let me throw it back to you, Anthony. So you checked out this film, and I appreciate you taking a look at this. What maybe let's start off with, if you have like maybe some negative critiques, and then we'll get into some positive critiques. And what were just some of the points that reached out to you that that compelled you, about that you want to speak on about this film?
Yeah. I mean, I'll get the negative out of the way, because when it began, everything seemed rushed. Like that scene where the judge says, and it's a great line, and I'm gonna mess it up, but he says something about this: in my however many years on the bench, this is the biggest miscarriage of justice. You are now free. We apologize. It's a good scene. But it's like, boom, you're out. Then he's out. And then there's a scene where he goes to his mother's house, and I can't remember who he's talking to, but she says, "Are you sure that's a good idea?" And of course, we're going to find out why. He goes and says, "It's me, Mom." She's out there, and she stands up. He says, "I'm out. They found me innocent," and or whatever he said. And she says, I told you never to come here again," and walks away, and he leaves. I'm like, well, wait, what? Give me something to hold on to. And all the scenes following it seem a little rushed. But when we get to the meat of it, it kept my interest. It was interesting. I love a good. It's not Southern Gothic, but and I'm not a Southern boy. My dad is. But I love a good Southern thriller, Give me accents and shotguns and boy, blah, blah, blah. We're going to run you out of town. We're going to kill you, blah, blah, blah. I love that kind of thing. Walter Hill stuff. I mean, this isn't that, but
yeah.
So that kept my interest. The style they were setting their story in. I thought it was too rushed, and something I'm sure you'll speak on again, because we can't say what. The ending, the final shot.
Literally,
I didn't like it. I'm like, come on. I mean, there was. I'll just say there was no question in our mind, because the screenplay led us that way. So, anyway, I don't want to say any more. And I figured out who it was the original killer of the girl. I figured that out. It was pretty simple, just because of things that person is doing. You know.
You were doing the
But
math. You were
yeah,
doing the
that
math behind the
said,
thriller.
yeah, that said, it was interesting. I was always interested. I don't understand why the lead actor had to color his beard so dark. His beard was so darkly fakely dark that Steve Seagal's like, "Hey man, you're that's too dark." Uh, but that's a silly nitpick. I'm just being silly. He was very good, by the way. I liked him.
Yeah. Shout out to Jamie
Um,
Donovan. He was also the writer on this as well. He co-wrote this with Rich Ronat.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was an interesting. It needed more oomph, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to criticize any of the other actors because for a lot of them it's their first or second film. I mean, they were fine. They did. It just needed more something. I don't know. And but hey, for a low budget first start, my interest never waned. You know?
That's key for me. That's kind of like where my foundation starts. This is
Yeah.
the first film out this group, production wise, low budget. Will I be entertained? And I was entertained.
Yeah.
It definitely has its negative points. You already kind of spoke to them, so I'm not going to reiterate that. But there were some high points for me. Ending, not so much. I'm quite surprised at the ending, though. I didn't mind it as much as you
I
did.
was just like,
Um,
why?
but
Why?
I feel that. But it went from, and I talked to Rich and Laura about this. It felt like and I mean this with no disrespect, like a Hallmark movie. Because I have a lot of women in my household who love Hallmark movies, so I end up watching a lot of Hallmark movies.
It was too clean, right?
Huh? Very
It was
clean,
too clean. Yeah.
and it had that, but it also was what worry about in real life. An American goth. You were saying American Southern Gothic stuff. I love that in film. Scared about it in real life, but I love that shit on my screen.
Me too. And my dad's from Kentucky.
Yeah,
scares me
you will
too.
never catch me in those areas, but I love watching that stuff in film, and it gave me that. And I thought they gave us all of that. The story, could use some oomph in the areas like you said, but I was thoroughly entertained throughout. There's a great scene that I really appreciated at the beginning. Once he's got out of prison, and I think that was to catapult the story to where they wanted it to go. But I do hear where your point in regards to that kind of went very fast. But I think it was to push the other parts of the story that they wanted to get to. But when he's out and he's met by one of the people that again, perception, you're the guy and you got free, so I'm now gonna get my vengeance. And he gets sent out, and they're face to face dealing with it. And I don't want to spoil too much there, but there's an interaction there. I thought that was a great scene. I don't know what you thought about that scene, Anthony, but how
That's
he pulls
my
it off and then
favorite.
brings him to a side, that was really well done.
That's my favorite scene and my favorite character.
Yeah,
I love the arc of that character.
yeah.
And
So
we can't say why.
yeah. So again, we don't want to spoil. Go check out Culprit, y'all, on Prime Video right now and all streaming platforms. But yeah, there's definitely up and down moments. But overall, I was entertained. And I'll give it some popcorn. If that is that what Ebert and Siskel now do is popcorn, or I don't know who does the pop. It's the thumbs up. Who does the popcorn? I don't know. We need to have something like that for the NRW. I don't know. But
I'll give this a small popcorn without butter.
no cholesterol. Yeah, definitely had some moments. But yeah, it felt like a Hallmark movie until the very end, and then I was like, "There's no way they're gonna put something on Hallmark like this." Also, with some slight edits in order to be put up on Hallmark. There's some editing in regards to like language, obviously, because they don't put that on Hallmark. But it felt like that audience type of film. I know my mom would like. This is a movie my mom would really enjoy. And I definitely hope it finds its audience. I think there's definitely an audience for this film. It's an enjoyable film, but it does have some issues here and there. But overall, I think you'll be entertained.
I agree with you, and we should, as critics, I learned long ago, we don't review the movie we didn't get or wanted. We review the movie in front of us. But I would have, I think it would have benefited dramatically from, what's the character's name? The lead character, the guy.
Jamie Donovan's character, his name, trying to pull that up real quick.
Well, whichever.
Jack Harris. Jack Harris.
Jack Harris. If there would have been a little, and maybe it would have helped the finale play better. I would have liked to have known, okay, were you a good guy going in? Did being in prison turn you hard? Did it change you? Are you still the good guy? You know, I don't know. I would have liked that because the character's kind of an enigma as is. But again, you know, whatever.
Real quick, and this isn't going to spoil, but Rich Ronat's intention was to have you second guessing every minute. Right. I think they succeeded.
Yeah, they did.
But maybe did they do that too much? And that was one of the things I asked him.
They did, and
what do you think about that?
You said you asked him that?
Yeah, and that was his intention, even through the end.
I thought you meant, do you think you did it too much? I think they did it too much.
Yeah.
So, well, here's the good thing. I said I figured out who it was, but then they kept trying to change my mind, and they did at one point, and I can't say who I thought it was, but yeah, no, it was a little too much.
Yeah.
But, or was it? Because I just confessed to being thrown off of my track. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's other films that play with your mind all the way through. You know, we've seen it. That's a device in other films, but it was interesting to do this because a lot of time, well, as viewers, we always think that you wrap it up in one shiny bow in a resolution.
I like ambiguity, by the way. I love ambiguity. I don't always need a shiny bow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah. I was a little blown away though at the ending, but then I thought it was gonna end, but then other things happened. But anyway, we're not gonna spoil.
No,
but it was just interesting. An entertaining film.
Viewer. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, y'all. What do you think about Culprit? Hit us up in the comments below. Again, shout out to Rich Ronat and Laura Vale for speaking with us, and for them, flowers on the debut of their first film with Good Rebel Productions, Good Rebel Films.
Congratulations! And if you're watching, that name, Good Rebel Films, I love it.
All right. That is the amazing Anthony Francis. Thank you, as always, Anthony, for joining me, talking films. Check out Anthony at Screen Comment, Movie Review, Film Threat. All of his links are in the description below. And you're on the NRW. Go check out some of the other reviews Anthony and I have done here on the channel, and all the other interviews as well. And like I said, my interview with Rich Ronat and Laura Vale, that's here on the channel as well. So that's the amazing Anthony Francis. I'm Kuya P. Nerds rule the world.
Nerds rule the world.
Pleasure chatting with you. Love to all my nerds who rule the world.
Yeah. Nerds rule the world.
Yes, we do.
Thanks. Nerds rule the world.
Thank you.
I love the nerds ruling the world, so more power to you.
Patrick, what up, man? And yes, they do. Nerds rule the world, kid.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Awesome. Kuya P, Nerds Rule the World. Hello.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Oh,
Nerds rule the world.
I got.
It's in the title of your show, like Nerds Rule the World. Like, I want more Black weirdos on screen, and I don't feel like we ever get to see that very much.
Thank you so much. Nerds do rule the world.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Nerds Rule. Love
it. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Julian.
Yes, Nerds Rule. Yes,
Rock on. I love it. Thank you so much.
It's good to see you. I love Nerds Rule the World. But yeah, there's a heavy nerd component, man.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you ask me, nerds rule the world. So
Absolutely.
And you're right, nerds do rule the world.
We're just the best.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies.
Nerds so much.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
It's your boy QUP. Nerds rule the world. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you.
do. They rule the world all right.
Yes. Take care, Tony. Thank you, guys.